Well, I got one request to do this, and I'm so glad. Hello guys, welcome, or if you've already seen my channel before, welcome back. I'm the Philadelphia Whovian, and for this one, well, we're going to be talking about that beautiful thing called Avengers Endgame, which is pretty much the final chapter of the Avengers movie in this chapter of the MCU universe. Now, I know there have been tons of videos about this. Why come and see mine? Because I got one person on my YouTube channel who requested it, and one is all I need. Thank you so much for requesting this. I thought nobody would care about what I thought about Avengers Endgame, so it's nice to have that one person. Okay, now with this movie. This movie naturally got a lot of mixed feelings when it comes to audiences, as it was going to. And I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, spoilers galore in this. I'm assuming if you're going to come and watch this, why would you not or have already seen it? Like literally, if you're going to come watch my channel, why would you have not already seen it? So, oh, itching the eye. Okay, now, when it comes to Avengers Endgame, you had to have seen pretty much almost all, or at least over half, of the MCU movies that are building up to this final chapter to really enjoy it. Maybe, even if you haven't, maybe you can find something to enjoy about it. I don't know. It calls on a lot of the, previous movies, and even is interwoven with the previous movies. So, I'm assuming we've all seen it who are now watching this video. I'm assuming we are. So now I'm going to go off it. One, overall, guys, I'll be very honest, I freaking loved this movie. Now, when it comes to some criticisms about the movie, one is some people at this point are suffering from comic book fatigue, where they've been seeing so many movies when it comes to the comic book heroes that by the time they got to Endgame, they were a little bit exhausted, and so their reaction to the movie was meh. Yeah, meh. Me, I've enjoyed every step of the way. Even when MCU had some missteps, I still saw the good in it. I am not exhausted by it. I am happy that we lived in this time. We saw this big, large, epic universe. And so much fun and so much of the journey of my life was in these movies. So, did I like Avengers Endgame as much as other MCU movies? No, I did not. But did I still enjoy it overall and feel like I had a good time sitting there and watching it? Yes, I did. Am I happy that it happened? Yes, I am. Also, when it comes to some criticisms, it's having to do with the time travel element. Because as those of us who have seen Endgame here, we know it's kind of separated very well into 3 chapters. You have the beginning, which is the aftermath after Thanos has wiped out half of the universe of the population. The second half is the time travel bit, where it's all about them going back in time and trying to get the Infinity Stones and take them out of their timeline so they can reset everything, bring everybody back, and then they're going to put them back in their places when they are done, so they're not interrupting the timeline. And then the third part of it is basically the climactic part where there's the whole showdown where after everyone is brought back, now we've got, boom, the conflict between Thanos and all the Avengers, and everyone in the MCU practically is in that fight sequence, which is amazing fights. Oh, dear God, that was an amazing fight. Now, were there a couple of errors along the way? I feel yes, there were. One where we have the ending, it's a little, I know it's, idea of conveniences. People often talk about Captain Marvel like, oh, she somehow flew in space and found Tony and Rocket in the very beginning, Tony, Rocket, and Nebula, and brought them back. They kind of feel that to be like, a plot convenience. But I'm not so sure about that. The last bit we had at the end of Infinity War was Nick Fury contacting Marvel. And why wouldn't Rocket, why wouldn't in some way, shape, or form they have an ability to there'd be something. I'm sorry, not Rocket. Rocket's not there. Rocket's on Earth. Forgive me. I got mixed up. Rocket is on Earth because he had just fought on Earth in Wakanda next to Thor and with Groot. So he's there. And then you got Tony and Nebula. They're the ones who are on the ship and they are marooned in space. But why wouldn't Rocket? Think about it. Why would he not be able to kind of contact his own ship or at least track his own ship? And therefore Captain Marvel naturally would easily speak to him and he could say, oh, I can track my ship, but oh, it's frozen in space. It's literally just kind of like floating in space. They're out of gas. And Captain Marvel just goes and gets them. That makes sense to me. Sometimes things don't always need to be fully spelled out if it's an easy way to explain it. Sometimes, and to me that's just too easy of a way to explain how Captain Marvel could have found them and brought them back. That's all it is. So I didn't get mad about that very much. And then there's the ending where Tony, he takes all the Infinity Stones into his suit and he snaps his fingers, even though we know for a fact that the Infinity Stones, once you put all of them on you, it takes a lot out of you, hence why it even overpowered the Hulk, and the Hulk had a hard time snapping his fingers. So it's like, whoa, wait a minute, hang on. Tony Stark could just absorb the Infinity Stones. I guess maybe his suit absorbed them, or maybe, I don't know why, but the fact that the Hulk had struggled with it when he put on the Infinity Stones versus, Iron Man's suit, it's like, wait, it was that easy for Iron Man? But then again, you know what? Who knows? Maybe somehow Tony's suit can absorb all the shock, and therefore he snaps his fingers easily. There is that possibility, and I'm not going to let even if that is a con, I'm not going to let it outweigh all the pros that I enjoyed about the movie. Another con that I do acknowledge, and this is very true, which is that Thanos can easily defeat Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man even without the Infinity Stones. I acknowledge that was a con for me, to see Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America overpowered by Thanos pre-Infinity Stones. Like, whoa, okay, I mean, I know you need conflict here, but I'm not entirely sure that makes any sense. I acknowledge that. Now, but these are, again, cons that are, again, so many pros to the story that I am not going to let it destroy my experience with this movie. Another thing I do admit with this movie is it was 3 hours long, which I'm fine with. I was happy they put all the time into it. I literally sat there the entire time. I was not bored. And I also didn't even care about or needing to go to the bathroom. I had nothing with me when I was in the movie theater that made me have to go to the bathroom because I did not want to get up through this entire movie, and I did not. But the only thing I can say is there were some times where I wish they had spent a lesser time focusing on one thing or tightening up that, something that was just stretched out for a little too long, and focused and gave more time to other things. Like sometimes I wish they could have cut certain things down and then put more time into the time travel, so we got more of that, etc. and so forth. I just think that sometimes they could have shortened some things so they could elongate other things. But that's a super nitpick for me. With this Avengers Endgame, I remember sitting in the movie theater, and in the very beginning, Captain Marvel, she brings Tony and she brings Nebula back, and I loved that bit with Tony and Nebula in the ship before Captain Marvel shows up. I can't explain it, but I loved that so much. Another thing that gets criticism, but I never understood why, is Karen Gillan as Gamora. I know some people who do not like, other critics here on YouTube, did not like her performance as Nebula. Oh, not Gamora. Sorry, not Gamora. Nebula. Did I say Gamora? I meant Karen Gillan as Nebula. They thought she did not give a good performance as Nebula in previous movies. I don't understand that. I thought she was always good as Nebula. I liked her a lot. That's just me. So, but she was excellent in this. Everybody was excellent in this. The words cannot describe the acting skill and the directing skill and the writing skill that went into this movie, the production value that went into this movie. Every actor brought it. I'm sorry, but this is a prime example of, action movies deserving some type of award, or some type of, award recognition for acting ability, because people don't understand that a lot of acting ability or a lot of skill has to go into building these characters. They really do. And I definitely, especially when it comes to the MCU or any action movie, really feel like stunt performers, stunt artists, they deserve their own category in award movies, because these stunt performers, these stunt women and stunt men, both of them are excellent in the MCU, and they risk their lives for these incredible stunts, and the award ceremony should honor stunt people, stunt women and stunt men. They are artists too in the most extreme sense of the word. And one thing I also loved about this movie is there was not much Captain Marvel in it. Because when I saw this, no offense to, Brie Larson or Captain Marvel or anything, but she's just so new into the MCU, to have her be the main driving force that defeats Thanos, I was like, that just doesn't really feel good to me. But truth is, she was only there for in the movie for about 7 minutes, and her 7 minutes of being there, it was no more remarkable than anybody else. And then when she does face off Thanos, she is not this, she's not able to overpower him no more than any other Avenger. And you could argue that she technically fails, and because of that, Iron Man dies. You could argue that very well, but she doesn't really feel the repercussions of that. And another thing with the Captain Marvel is Brie Larson. I mean, I know she wasn't given much with this, but she very much feels like a blank slate. She does. And I had that problem with Black Widow in the past. I know, scandalous, where Black Widow, she felt kind of, I know that they were going for the cold feeling, but it didn't always translate well, as much to translate as she felt dead. Sometimes it worked really well for her, and sometimes they gave her more material to work with. But sometimes Black Widow, when people were excited for a Black Widow movie, I was a little bit, worried about it, because I'm like, well, yeah, her stunt performer is amazing. Yes, Scarlett Johansson is beautiful, but sometimes Black Widow, because of her personality, there's not much to really be engaged by, because it's a very sotto voce performance with very muted reactions to things. And it could be the way Natasha Romanoff was supposed to be, but it's just not that entertaining to watch to me, even though, again, Scarlett Johansson, she is very gorgeous, and her stunt woman is amazing. Black Widow herself never fully was that compelling to me. And I love Scarlet Witch, and I was perfectly great with Pepper Potts. I had no problem with the women in Thor movies. The women in the Thor movies, all of them, I thought gave great performances. I know that's a scandalous opinion, but that they were all great. Speaking of great actresses, Renee Russo came back to play Frigga. Thank God! In this movie. I loved her moments with Thor. Loved them so very much. Now it comes to the time travel bit. Okay, because the very first half is about them trying to recover from the fact that Thanos did succeed. And also, we have the Avengers who feel guilty of the fact that Thanos did succeed and they did lose. Thor is feeling that very heavily. And in the very beginning, he literally, when he chopped off Thanos' head and he said, "I aimed for the head," and he just walks away, and you're sitting there like, what the heck could they possibly do with the rest of this movie? Thanos is dead. What the hell? But then we find out that just because of the fortunate plot convenience of a rat, walking on the right thing at the right time, we got Ant-Man. He was alive in the quantum realm, and it turns out he finds a way to manipulate it. Or he says, we find a way we can manipulate it and go back in time. We can manipulate time, go back in time, get the Infinity Stones, bring them back, and just bring everyone back again. And they go to Tony Stark, but Tony Stark has moved on at this point. He has a wife, Pepper Potts, of course, but he also has a daughter. He does not want to risk all that. But he eventually does come around anyway. And then we get the whole team back together. We've got Hulk as a professor. I know some people are disappointed with that. I'm not against it or for it too much. Either way, it's just there, it's there, I'm fine, whatever. Then we have Black Widow, who was there trying to keep Avengers together. And I get to see, again, Scarlett Johansson, she was given more to do when it comes to emotional range in this, and this was a good performance on her part. And then we got Hawk, who has lost his entire family, and now he's going on a vendetta and killing all of these bad guys who were allowed to live. That was amazing. Hawkeye, to see him in this position, he did a great performance. I mean, Jeremy Renner is great as Hawkeye. That goes without saying. But seeing where he went to in this character, how dark he got, amazing. And it led to some great reactions or great, discussions between him and Black Widow. But then we've got Thor. Thor is the main one. There is the most polarizing of character portraits. Because in Infinity War, Thor was amazing. I've never had a problem with Thor. In fact, I always thought he was kind of underrated of an Avenger. I never had a problem with him, but a lot of people do not like Thor. That's not me. I admit, guys, I respect you, but it's not me. I always loved Thor. It could help that I loved Chris Hemsworth's performance and take on Thor. Honestly, I don't think anybody else could have played Thor but Chris Hemsworth. And I loved him, especially whenever he was acting against Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Thought they were excellent together. Very good. But in this one, he has taken the guilt of failing so hard, he is now this obese guy who sits around all day with Korg and his friends playing video games, and it smells where he lives. And he is just so emotionally just, he is not in a good place. Now, some people, they can't stand this idea. I understand why you can't. I was on the fence with it. It's like, Thor, you have this great Avenger who was magnificent in Infinity War, and now he's reduced to this. But then there's the other part of me that it's like this shows how Chris Hemsworth is a phenomenal actor. I mean, he was always good as Thor, but showing his range, where he was from the first Thor movie to where he is now, and now he's this huge guy, by taking all of his beauty away from him, it allows people to focus on his performance. And Chris Hemsworth is a very good actor, but because he's this handsome guy, and I think now a lot of people are going through this stage where it's like they have a refusal to look at pretty people and see the talent behind them sometimes. And Chris Hemsworth suffers from that, where he's this handsome guy, he's ideal looking practically, but because people don't always notice all the effort, the effortless effort he puts into things. But you see it here, because he just he played this so very well. And him with Frigga, whoa, that was amazing. I mean, that was, thank God Frigga came back. Oh, that was awesome. And then we get Tony Stark, when we see him again with Nebula, and then he comes back and he looks like he's completely, how skinny he looks, he's amazing with it. And to see his journey at the very end when he does sacrifice himself to save everyone, this is amazing too. Absolutely spellbinding. Hawkeye, very good. All the actors gave great performances. Also, Gamora, she gave a great performance. She always gave a great, I think she's a great actress too. And Scarlet Witch, when she came back, it's like, yes, Elizabeth Olsen, yes, you were excellent as Scarlet Witch. You were. And then we get Doctor Strange, where we got Benedict Cumberbatch. Now, some people say with Benedict Cumberbatch, they wish he kept his English accent. Yes, Benedict Cumberbatch has a great accent, but I think he did a very good job doing an American accent. And then to bring back Tom Holland as Spider-Man, oh, my theater cheered, and I went and saw the movie at 10 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh my God, it's Spider-Man, he's back. This is awesome. This is awesome. Yes, it is. It's so cool. It is so splendid. And it turns out this was the only way. As Doctor Strange said, there was no other way. It turns out the whole time this was the only way for it to all happen, was they all to die for them to be brought back again. And Thanos, to discover this through Nebula, because of the connection that the future Nebula has with the past Nebula, you know, and he is now going against them. He even uses her as a mole. It's just, you just sit there like, oh my God, all the effort that went into this. In the time travel bits, where you see Steve Rogers, Captain America, go back and fight himself. And again, Chris Evans is Captain America. He is excellent as Captain America. Captain America is so perfectly realized in this entire MCU universe. A great improvement to the Captain America movie we got in the 90s or 80s. Oh, that travesty of a movie. But yes, he is excellent. Seeing him fight himself is excellent. And then seeing him see Peggy, oh, that was excellent too. And we got Tony seeing his father again, excellent too. And also, there's that one scene, yes, that scene where Loki gets the Tesseract. And he escapes. Where did Loki go? This opens it up to anything happening in the MCU after this, which is very good. We needed Loki to keep going in some way, shape, or form. We did not need Loki to die. I mean, it was powerful when he died in Infinity War, but we didn't, we need, that was just too soon, man, too soon. And at the very end, when they're all coming together, that was a fantastic battle sequence. Again, I do feel bad, though, that Thanos could easily overpower Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. And, of course, we had that iconic moment of Captain America grabbing Mjolnir. Yes, Captain America is worthy to possess the power of the hammer. Boom! That was awesome. It really was. All of the Marvel characters are coming in. It was excellent. Now with the ending, I love the idea of Captain America. You see him now, he's older because he actually lived his whole life with Peggy. And they're handing him over to, like, he hands a shield over to his friend. Not Bucky, sorry. I want to say Nightwing, Blackwing, what is it? Sorry, I'm forgetting his name right now. Great actor who plays him, though. You're seeing that. And then we have Thor handing his torch over to Valkyrie. You know, these are all cool things. It's just hard to tell because there was that one, where all the female characters banned by Captain America in the battle not Captain America, Captain Marvel in the battle sequence. And it's like, is this politically correct moment? I know I should be cheering, but I feel like it's a little too forced. And some people think it's even cringy, and I kind of understand why they think it's cringy, but it didn't ruin the movie for me. I like seeing all those female characters there, but I just didn't think that Captain Marvel warranted that type of females rallying to her just yet. I just don't think she did. But again, with the time travel bit, I know some people have a problem with the time travel because they think it is the act of a desperate writer, because time travel has been done to death at this point. So time travel is what you do when you don't know what else to do. Yes, I understand that. Yes, I know you want to make that argument. Good for you. I totally get why that's, we're not crazy about the time travel. But you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm not going to overanalyze this to death. I'm going to let this go and say, you know what? I had a fun time. I enjoy the time travel. I'm fine with it. Is it an act of a desperate writer? Is time travel the act of a desperate writer? You could argue it is, but I don't care.